Well, we're here in Nampa, Idaho, and I'm about to head into the Karcher Mall. Back around this time, I was watching a lot of Dan Bell's videos on YouTube. The Another Dirty Room series and the Dead Mall series. So after watching quite a few Dead Mall videos, I started to think, well, how much longer is the Karcher Mall going to remain open? I would come down probably every other month to purchase high quality bird seed for my two cockatiels. There was a pet store inside the Karcher Mall. But I was noticing, every time I came down, I was noticing more and more just how dead the inside of the mall was. There's the Ross Dress for Less on the outside of the mall, out front, and they always seem to be pretty busy. The sporting goods store, not too busy, but the Ross was always pretty busy. So I decided to purchase a pair of pivot head high definition camera glasses so I could film the mall. And it's a little awkward to wear those. Just feel a little strange. I was trying to be cautious not to turn my head too fast or to walk too fast. What I remember, I think they just had digital image stabilization, not optical. So I was trying to turn my head slower just to help with the image stabilization. And I did look up information online, try to gather as much information as I could about the history of the Karcher Mall. So I'll read that here. Plans for the state's first shopping mall were announced in August of 1964. The complex was built on 20 acres that were formerly alfalfa fields. This location was in an unincorporated section of Canyon County. The mall site was annexed into the city of Nampa on August 2nd, 1965. The Karcher Mall was designed by Robert B. Liles Incorporated of San Francisco, California. In its original state, the shopping hub consisted of a single retail level that encompassed approximately 103,000 leasable square feet. The mall opened on August 26, 1965, and the first tenants of the mall were Kinney Shoes, the Karcher Mall Barbershop, and a 34,000 square foot Buttery Foods Superstore. 4 additional stores and services were dedicated on September 15th of that year, and they were as follows: Andre's Beauty Salon and Sauna, Ann's Flowers, a 9,000 square foot Sprouse Rights, and a 30,000 square foot Tempo Discount Center. Construction began on a Phase 1 addition. The $2.9 million project began on March 8th of 1967. A 2-level center section was built. New stores included Irene's Fashions, Singer Sewing Center, and a 24,000 square foot Skaggs Drug Center. The centerpiece of the renovation was a 2-level, 140,000 square foot JCPenney's. The store, along with the new mall wing, was dedicated on October 23, 1968. In late 1969, the mall's discount variety store, Tempo Discount, was rebranded as Rasco Tempo. A Phase 2 expansion was announced on July 26, 1972, with construction starting in January 1973. The project added a 1-level, 60,000 square foot Bon Marché, Virgil Odell Red and Blue Twin Cinemas, and 19 inline stores. On August 3, 1973, the expanded wing was opened for business. The Karcher Mall now encompassed approximately 600,000 leasable square feet and housed 50 stores and services. The store Rasco Tempo closed in the fall of 1981. The vacant store was renovated and F.W. Woolworth opened in its place on March 31st, 1982. Standard Management Company from Los Angeles, California acquired the mall, with the transaction closing on October 16th, 1986. A $1 million facelift renovation was completed in November of 1987. This project was done as a measure to keep up with a upcoming retail rival known as the Boise Town Square Mall. The Boise Town Square Mall was dedicated in October of 1988. The Boise Town Square Mall managed to snatch JCPenney's, the primary anchor for the Karcher Mall. JCPenney's vacant spot in the Karcher Mall was filled by Troutman's Emporium. The store held its grand opening on November 21st, 1988. Unfortunately, the new mall anchor failed to halt the mall's decline. Troutman's Emporium was in foreclosure by the mid-90s. The struggling mall changed hands on May 6, 1998. It was acquired by Karcher Partners, a joint venture of Tarrytown, New York's DLC Management Corporation and Dallas Benton Companies. A second facelift commenced in April 2000. As part of the $10 million project, new flooring, lighting, skylights, and storefronts were installed, along with the main entrance being rebuilt. Vacant retail spaces were also leased. Intermountain Outdoor Sports replaced the vacant Woolworths, and Joann Fabrics took the spot of the old Payless Drug. Big Five Sporting Goods set up in the northwest wing, and an Applebee's was built as a freestanding structure. The Karcher Mall lost Troutman's Emporium in February of 2003. Ross Dress for Less leased the old Buttery Foods location in 2004. The mall's anchor, Bon Marché, was renamed Bon Macy's on August 1st, 2003, and then rebranded by Macy's on March 6, 2005. Over the next 2 years, the mall changed hands 3 times. On May 7, 2004, LB Nampa Mall Holdings, a subsidiary of New York City's Lehman Brothers, closed on their purchase. Chicago's Baum Brothers Limited Liability Company bought the mall in July 2005. They flipped the property 2 months later, with Milan Properties of Anaheim, California becoming the new owners. Milan Properties started a mall refurbishment in 2008. A more ambitious remodeling, which had been proposed by the previous owner, was scrapped. Milan's scaled down renovation and concentrated on a facelift of the interior, remodeling the entrances, and painting the exterior. The $14 million project was completed in the spring of 2009. Burlington Coat Factory and Steve and Barry's University Sportswear store had opened. Steve and Barry's went out of business 11 months later. The movie theater, which had been operating as the Karcher Mall Theater until 2000, reopened as Northern Lights Cinema Grill in September 2009. The primary Macy's closed on October 14th and moved to the new Nampa Gateway Center. A Karcher Mall Macy's clearance center remained open for the time being. In 2010, another retail rival, Treasure Valley Marketplace, opened nearby. The Macy's clearance center closed in July 2014. The original Macy's location in the mall was replaced by More Furniture for Less in June 2016. The Burlington Coat Factory closed in September 2018. Livermore, California's Rhino Investments bought the Karcher Mall in May 2019. A $30 million demalling was proposed. A 81,000 square foot section of the southeast wing was demolished, and the enclosed shopping concourse was converted into inline store space. A revitalized power center known at first as Karcher Marketplace would include at least 216 residential units. A photo op groundbreaking was held in November 2019, with demolition on the south wing getting underway soon after. The official name was changed to District 208 in 2022. It was sold to the Los Angeles Hyperion Realty Capital in May 2025, who became the property's 8th owner. I'm just watching the video here. Coming up to where the movie theater used to be on the right. I never did make it there when it became the Northern Lights Cinema Grill. I always wanted to go, just never got around to it for some reason. I don't know why. I saw quite a few movies there in the past. Just a few movies that I do remember. I remember seeing the original, what's the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie? Total Recall. Saw that there. I saw Star Trek 6 Undiscovered Country. I saw Wishmaster. And I'm pretty positive I saw Wayne's World there. On the right here, that sign for more furniture for less is on the right here. I'm pretty positive that's where the Emporium used to be. So I know I would come down to the mall a lot in the 80s, 90s, through the 2000s. And yeah, I'm pretty sure the Emporium was there on the right. Wish I could have kept the original audio from the video, but they were still playing music over the speaker system throughout the mall, so I didn't want to have an issue with the copyright. So I recorded my own audio on a digital recorder and replaced it, just so I wouldn't have any issues. Just went somewhere and recorded ambient noise of people walking through and talking. Wish I could remember all the stores that were in this mall throughout the years. But so many places, have come and gone. It's just hard to remember, especially clear back to the 80s and 90s. Pretty positive there was a Sam Goody in there at one time. I don't know if it was this spot, but somewhere there in the mall. I'm pretty positive I remember going to a Sam Goody's there in the Karcher Mall. Would come down quite often. I wish I could remember, what stores were in these different locations over the years, but I just don't really recall. Even when I would come down on a Saturday or Fridays around the time which should normally be pretty busy, the mall would be kind of like this, or even fewer people. So I'd usually come down on a Friday or Saturday to get the bird seed for my 2 cockatiels, and I was just noticing just how dead it was. Of course, the Ross Dress for Less was pretty busy, or the Applebee's out across the parking lot was pretty busy, but it's just the inside of the mall was pretty dead. And I could swear that there used to be a restaurant in this section coming up here upstairs. I'm positive there was a restaurant up there somewhere. that I remember going to years ago. Unless my memory's off, I could swear there was something up above. I don't remember what kind of restaurant it was, but I remember there being something up there, directly above. Of course, I'm not looking up that way. I think when I come back through the mall again, I look up that way. It's so hard to keep the video stabilized with these camera glasses. I wish they had optical image stabilization on them. I never really remember seeing many people in that GNC. I know it's a lot of video of me walking, but I was trying to record as much as possible at the time when the inside was still actually open. And then try to compare over the years how much it really died off. I just wish I would have thought, years and years ago of, filming back in the 2000s even, or the 90s or whatever. Of course, back then, you use a pretty good sized camcorder, so it'd be very obvious that you're recording. So it would have been a little difficult to do. I really wish these camera glasses had optical image stabilization just to help even with the walking, how the video bounces up and down. Try not to get seasick. I don't really remember seeing too many people in that sporting goods store on the left there throughout the years. Always quite a few people at the Ross Dress for Less, a little bit further up there. A little bit further and then turn around and go into the other entrance and make another trip through the inside. Just trying to make sure I filmed everything. I was just going to do the one, trip through, and I figured, well, I better go through again just to make sure I film as much as possible. Because, I kept having the feeling, well, this place isn't going to be open much longer. Of course, the Ross here is still open today. And if I recall, I think the sporting goods store is. I don't really remember. Could be wrong. There was another store there too. Maybe they took a place of the sporting goods store. I forget. And this is the entrance I used to go through every time I would come down to go to the pet store to buy bird seed. Always coming through this entrance. Had to replace the audio as soon as I entered the mall because the music playing inside. I'm gonna copyright strike, so replace the audio right here. There used to be something along this mall, a store that used to be opened up. I don't recall what it was. Where that says Ross Dress for Less above. Where the Ross is in there now, that was all sealed off. But years ago, I remember there being something there. I don't remember what it was. And I was trying to get a good look at the directory there, but with the camera glasses, you can't zoom in or anything like that. Yeah, but I remember there being something that being opened up, and there was another store there years ago. And that goes out to the back of the mall. And there's the pet store. I used to go buy bird seed. Couldn't find any decent, high quality bird seed closer to Payette, so I would just drive down to the Karcher Mall and get it. Reasonably priced, big bags. So. And there are hardly every time I came down, there was hardly anybody in that pet store. And on the left wall there, I remember there being what's that store called? Radio Shack, somewhere there on the left, years and years ago. And up here on the right, I think that was a furniture store last, if I recall. But I remember Spirit Halloween being in there one year, maybe a few years, I don't remember exactly, but I remember one time there, Spirit Halloween being open in there for the season. I wish I could remember, what all was in these different locations throughout the mall, but just so many things came and went over the years. Mexican restaurant up there somewhere on the left, I think just past that on the left there. I think I see the sign up above. Right next to the massage sign. I think that was where it was. Yeah, the gate closed there. I wish I could find a list of exactly what all stores were in the mall throughout the years. I don't recall what stores were in this spot here throughout the years. Oh God, there's a Joanne Fabrics. Got dragged to that store a lot. The late 80s through the mid 90s. My ex-wife used to drag me down there a lot. We'd come down and spend time in the mall, but always had to go into Joanne Fabrics. Let me go to Woolworths. I wish I remember exactly where Woolworths was located. I don't remember if it was where the Burlington Coat Factory is in this video. which it was still open during this recording. That arcade always seemed to be pretty dead every time I came down. That Bath and Body Works was always pretty dead every time I came down too. See up there on the left, dang it, I turned my head again towards the Burlington. On the left up there, upstairs, I remember there being a restaurant back up in there somewhere. Not that spot right there, right ahead, but yeah, not directly in front of me, but back in there. I remember there being a restaurant back in there somewhere, upstairs. I'm positive. Wish I could remember what it was called. So long ago. It seemed like Sam Goody was up here somewhere, but on the left, I think. I really wish I could have filmed the what's the mall in Ontario, Oregon? West Park Plaza. Really wish I could have filmed that when it was, before it closed. They had a Troutman's Emporium in that mall too. The pizza place that used to be in there, it was pretty good. There was a Sam Goody in there at one time. Bathrooms back there. Can't believe all the money that went into this mall multiple times, for renovations. Didn't really want to go into any of the stores just so the salespeople wouldn't pester me. I don't recall if there was ever a Spencer's Gifts in this mall. I don't think there was. Maybe there was. I don't know. Again, it would be nice to have a full list of every single store that ever existed in the Karcher Mall. That pretzel place was pretty good. And that's where the positive the Emporium was there, where it says more. Coming back towards the movie theater again. Yeah, I decided to make another pass through the inside of the mall just to make sure I did film the different store locations in the inside of the mall. Yeah, I really wish I would have gone when the theater was still open. and they were, serving food for the movies. Come watch a movie and have a meal. I heard it was pretty good. I just never, for some reason I never got around to it. I don't know why. Kind of regret that, but a lot of room in there. That section goes down quite a bit. When you go back outside, you can see how far down it goes. Of course, it doesn't go that far anymore after I knock the section down. Yeah, I forgot I'm going to turn and then I think go back out through the exit where the GNC is. For some reason I think I was going out that exit. That jewelry store was always like that with the gates down, except for that one there on the coming around the corner here. Yeah, I wish I would have at least come down a few years prior to this video, and when I was filming this video, at least a few years prior to film it, when it wasn't quite as dead, but at least I filmed something when it was still open. I just don't really think about things like that. Well, mall's gonna close down. Better start filming it. Like, it just doesn't really normally cross my mind. Like, this place isn't gonna be around too much longer. But luckily, before the mall actually closed, I did start thinking about it. Mainly due to watching Dan Bell's Dead Mall videos. Started thinking about it more. About the Karcher Mall closing. Wish I could remember what was in this section on the right up here with all the gates down. That Burlington was pretty dead that day. That GNC was always dead. At least every time I came down. That repair shop on the right, or was it cell phone repair or something like that? I never really saw anybody in there other than the employees. I don't know how they managed to stay open, but decided to come back again, take another look, and see what's going on. course, I didn't have to replace the audio because I'm outside and the inside's closed. Don't worry about a copyright issue, music playing. A lot of walking, but I wanted to film as much as possible. And then back down towards the other entrance. Cut out some of the walking just to speed it up just a little bit. And you can see right there, straight ahead, the wall doesn't go as far as anywhere near as far as it used to. It used to go much further in the last video when the mall was still open. The wall used to go quite a bit further, and now it doesn't go very far. You can see where they knocked it all down. Again, a lot more walking, but I wanted to just take a good look back here after they knocked down that side of the mall there. I'm still wearing the on this trip I'm using the pivot head high definition camera glasses again. In the previous video, when the mall was still open, when it came out that exit back there, you could see how far down the wall went because they had all those more furniture for less signs hanging on the side of the building. Again, this might seem kind of boring, all this walking, but I just wanted to film it pretty good. Just get a good look around the side and the back and everything. Backside of the Burlington Coat Factory. See some graffiti that's been painted over on the wall there. Of course, stupid people always have to spray paint buildings or... Come on, get a life. Backside where Joanne Fabrics located, and then that furniture store up there. See it here in a minute. It was still open. I don't know if they kept busy or not, but I don't know how busy the Joann's was either. If they did decent business or not. Continue to walk around the back of the mall here just to film everything. Don't recall what was in this spot here, straight ahead. I could have sworn at one time it said security office. I could be wrong. Kind of wish I would have walked around the back of the mall when the inside was still open. Back down the side here. The other back side of that entrance that I used to come in from the other side out front to the pet store. This is the back side of that entrance. Surprised someone didn't steal that dolly sitting there. Come around the side here and come along the side of the building where Ross is. that to the video here when I get back to the front. I'm gonna head to the truck. Walk a little bit more, and then I'll head to the truck, and then come back to the Joanne Fabrics. Some lights on in there still. Got in the truck and came back to the back of the mall here so I can go inside the store here. I actually didn't have to replace the audio inside this store because there wasn't any music playing. I was kind of hoping I could see out into the mall, but yeah, I looked around and there was no access where you could see out into the mall. Probably seems kind of boring walking around the fabric store, but I figured, well, hey, it's still open, might as well go in and film it. Well, it's actually still open. Trying to see there in the video. I think it had the windows covered up where you couldn't see out into the mall, if I remember correctly. And they used to have that, the door where you could go out into the mall, but that's all blocked off or whatever. Plastic hanging down there. Yeah, you can't really see into the mall. I figured, it's still open, so I might as well just take a quick walk through the store. I had a feeling this place wouldn't remain open too much longer. Wasn't sure exactly how much longer, but they seem to be kind of struggling too, so. Yeah, I remember back in the late 80s? I don't remember exactly when the store was here. Was it late 80s? I know definitely in the 90s it would be packed. I'm trying to remember exactly when did Joanne Fabrics open in the Karcher Mall. I was looking online that says around 99 2000, but I remember there being something like this in the Karcher Mall in the late 80s or and throughout the 90s. So, yeah, maybe it was something else. Wish I could remember for sure, but yeah, it was something like this kind of store. So I was starting to think, well, wait, was this store here back in the late 80s throughout the 90s? I remember it being something like, kind of like this store. I might be thinking of something else that was here before. Now I'm using my Sony camcorder. Better image stabilization. I wanted to use it so I can zoom in if I needed to. I think at this point I got rid of the pivot head HD camera glasses because I was starting to have a lot of issues with them not working properly. Straight ahead, that's where Burlington used to be. Some glass is all cracked right there. Again, you can see how that wall doesn't go near as far as it used to. See, it's all blocked off right there. I don't remember what that building is way back there. Take another look around the rest of the parking lot here towards Big 5 Sporting Goods and Ross, Dress for Less. Back of the mall here. So that's all blocked off along there too. On the right. So I had to go peek over the fence there. Head that way in a second. Just to take a look and see what's going on the other side of the fence there. decided to come back a month later, take another look, see if anything's changed. You can see lights on in there, and back where it used to be the Burlington Coat Factory. And I think I saw someone moving around in there. That's why I was zooming in. Yeah, someone moving around back in there. I think I saw... I guess that was a reflection. I think I saw two people moving around. And possibly someone straight back there. Further back in there, I think I saw someone sitting, it looked like, in a chair, kind of behind a support beam or something. Yeah, right straight back there. Kind of hard to see with the reflection of the headlights and stuff, but it looked like there was someone sitting back in there. And it looked like a couple other people, unless that was from the reflection of the glass. On the back side here, what used to be Burlington Coat Factory, same, just the back side of where I saw those people. A lot of furniture stacked up in there. Been a while, so I decided to come down again to see what other changes have taken place. Boot Barn, Big Five, and then of course Ross to the right there. Let me get a good look, but it's a little difficult. It's bright out. Well, not too bright, it's a little overcast, but you know, the sunlight reflecting and cars in the parking lot. And like some, no, it's a hubcap for the reflection of the car there. It looked like debris at first, but and those doors the glass is covered in wood. People getting in and screwing around inside the mall. You see some spray paint back there on the back wall there, because people have to be stupid. They've done some work, but I'm sure they wouldn't like it if someone broke into their house and spray painted and broke windows. Just because it's empty inside doesn't mean you can go inside and break in and spray paint and be stupid. It's hard to get a good look. See much. All this boarded up. Some broken glass back in there and broken glass. More spray paint. back wall back in there. I should have brought like a paper towel or something so I could clean the glass.
Glass is so dirty and all that reflection.
Like a clean spot in there or something.
This place is gone finally.
More spray paint.
Yeah, so obviously someone broke in here.
You can see he built all these apartments back here. All the work is done.
Section of the building that he demolished. Try again so we can get a good look. See where all the broken glass. So it looks like maybe someone spray painted there on the. Yeah. So that's pretty much all that's left as far as stores on the outside of the mall. The boot barn, whatever that is.
A quick look out here.
And Ross.
And then backside where the Burlington Coat Factory was.
Used to be.
That's boarded up there. More spray paint that had been painted over. And apartments here. And Joanne Fabrics closing. Yeah, I didn't think they were gonna stick around too long. And it's kind of depressing that the mall is closed. Some, stores outside like Ross Dress for Less and that Boot Barn or whatever the heck it's called. I've never been in one of those, but those are still up and running. But yeah, it's just a little depressing that the mall's closed down. Oh, and you can see that glass has been kicked in there on the right.
Broken piece of glass there. No, it's kicked in or something.
People just have to be stupid.
People are stupid. Hey, there's an abandoned building. Let's break all the windows out. Sorry, it's hard to get a clear look. Glass is dirty and looks like a little bit better, I guess, but not much. That's to the other entrance out front. I'm sure everything's been spray painted inside, probably.
Well, thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it.
Who knows when they'll remodel this and open it back up.